The theme this year nationally for African American History Month in February is Hallowed Places. Let's look at 4 specific places that are so significant in the history of the African American community in Augusta. First is Springfield Baptist Church. Springfield became the center for the African American community, freed African Americans as well as some who were still enslaved. After the Civil War, Springfield was a center of action, with the Georgia Equal Rights Association being founded there, and what was then known as the Augusta Baptist Institute, which later moved to Atlanta and became Morehouse College. So Springfield is a hallowed place in this community. The next hallowed place is Payne College. Payne was a remarkable example of biracial cooperation between whites and blacks in the post-Civil War, to found an institution that would provide for both the educational and spiritual needs of the newly freed slaves. Payne has been important over the years, providing people of many professions for the community, not just in Augusta, but throughout the nation. Shiloh Orphanage was founded in the late 1890s and directed by a former slave, the Reverend Daniel Horton, in 1910, when they were about to lose their orphanage because they had no money to pay the mortgage. A wealthy Northerner, Mrs. Henry Strong, Hattie Strong, stepped in, and it raised hundreds of children until its closing in the 1970s, when government programs began to deal with children who had lost their families. And finally, Penny Savings Bank is a great example of the entrepreneurship of the African American community in the post-Civil War period. By that time, Jim Crow laws made it almost impossible for African Americans to bank with predominantly white banks. And so this was to answer a need in the community. Penny Savings Bank remained an important and viable part of the business community in the Laney Walker neighborhood all the way until it was closed by the Depression in 1928-29. So these institutions represent 4 important aspects of African American history here in Augusta. This brief glimpse gives us a little insight into the hallowed places of Augusta, Georgia.